Hello reception, and Eid Mubarak to everybody that's been celebrating Eid today. So I thought, seeing as you've all been eating some nice food for Eid, that it might be good to do some baking today, okay? So we're going to bake some jam biscuits, and you need to do this with your grown-up. So I will show you the list of ingredients. Okay, you might need to press pause on your video now, so you can go and get all the ingredients you're going to need. So you're going to need 200 grams of self-raising flour, 100 grams of butter or margarine, 100 grams of sugar, 1 egg, and then for the filling you're going to need some jam. Okay, so I've got strawberry jam and I've got some black currant jam as well. Okay, so the first thing you need to do is your grown-up needs to put your oven on. Your oven needs to go on at 180 degrees or gas mark 5, okay? And then you need to get 2 baking trays like this, okay? Cut out this rectangle shape of baking paper or greaseproof paper and pop it onto your tray. This will stop your biscuits from sticking when they're ready, okay? So you need 2 of those to be ready. Right, I've got my weighing scales here. So the first thing I'm going to weigh is I'm going to weigh out my self-raising flour. Okay, and we need 200 grams of flour, so that's quite a lot. Okay, it says there 200 and then it's got a G, and the G is for grams, because when we are weighing things, we weigh in grams. Okay, so I'm going to put this on here. Right, I'm going to get my flour. Use my wooden spoon. So 200 grams, that's going to be quite heavy. Now this bag of flour is really heavy. That's in my hands. But it's too much. It weighs more than 200 grams. It's too heavy. I need to tip some out. And I'm looking on my scales here, that says 180 grams, that's not enough. There, a little bit more, need to make it a bit heavier. There, that's just right, 200 grams. So, I've got all my flour in my weighing bowl, and that weighs 200 grams, and that's going to go now in here, into my mixing bowl. There, it looks like it's snowing. I'm going to tap that in. Right, so that's our flour. So the next thing we're going to need now is we're going to need our sugar. Okay, and our sugar is not going to be as heavy as the self-raising flour because we only need 100 grams. Okay, so the sugar is going to be much lighter. It won't be as heavy as the flour. It's going to be lighter. Okay, so I'm going to weigh now 100 grams of sugar. A little bit more. That's 90 grams. 95, 99, 100. There, so I've got 100 grams of sugar in there. That feels really light, much lighter than the flour. I'm going to tip that in there. And I'm just going to give the flour and the sugar, I'm going to very, very carefully just mix it round to mix the flour and the sugar together. Right, so we've got 2 things in our bowl now. We've got our flour that was very heavy, it was 200 grams, and we've got our sugar that was a bit lighter at 100 grams. And now we need our butter or our margarine, and that is going to be a bit lighter as well. That one is going to be 100 grams. Okay, I'm going to put my bowl in there. This is my margarine. I think I'm going to need a spoon just to get it out. Right, here we are. Now this is going to be a bit stickier. Move my ingredients over there. Right, so I'm going to have to look carefully at my scales now as I weigh my margarine. Ooh, sticking to the spoon. That's 60 60 grams of margarine, but we need 100, so this is too light. We need to make it a bit heavier. Put some more in. That's 80 grams. That's still not heavy enough. It's still too light. Put a bit more in. There. Oh, I've put too much in now. Now it's too heavy. It says 110. So, to make it a bit lighter, I'm going to have to take a little bit out. There. That's perfect. 100 grams of butter. That's just right. Or margarine. So I'm going to just pop it into my bowl now. It's sticking. There we go. Just scrape it off with my finger. Don't worry if you're getting a bit messy, because we're going to get really messy in a minute, because we are going to put our hands into our mixture now and mix it together. So we don't need our scales anymore. So I'll pop those away. Right, so we've got our sugar, flour and margarine. And what we need to do now is we need to put our hands into our bowl, and we are going to rub the margarine and the sugar and the flour together. Now we're not rubbing them together with the whole of our hand. We're just using, if you can just see, it's just my fingers and my thumbs that have got flour and mixture on them, because I'm just using my fingers and I'm picking up the mixture and I'm rubbing the butter and the margarine and the flour together. I'm going to make it into some nice breadcrumbs. Okay, it's a bit sticky. You might need your grown-up to help you a little bit with this. But what's happening is, in my bowl, I can see now that my flour, which is white, and my yellow margarine are all starting to stick together. And so it's making everything look a bit yellowy. Sticking to my thumbs. Okay. So what we're looking for in the bowl now is we're looking for breadcrumbs. We want our mixture, when we've rubbed, can you see how I'm sprinkling it with my fingertips? When we've rubbed our butter and our sugar and flour together, when it's finished, it should all look like little breadcrumbs. Okay, it's starting to look like that now a little bit. I've just got a few lumps of margarine that I just need to rub in. And before I started baking, I did something that was extremely important, especially at the moment with this virus going around that's making people ill. I gave my hands a really good wash with some warm water and some soap. And I washed right in between my fingers, and I washed my fingernails, because we've got to make sure that when we are baking food, that we make sure our hands are nice and clean, because the food's good to go in our mouths and we don't want to be putting any germs into our mouths. Right, that's perfect. Now look at this now. It's all like breadcrumbs. So it doesn't look like biscuits yet. And look at how messy Mrs. Barlow's hands are. There, I'm just going to rub as much of the mixture off my hands as I can. There we go, that's a bit better. Right, so now we need to add into our mixture just 1 egg. Now we know we don't put the egg in like this. I can't just drop that in, can I? Because it's got all the eggshell on it. So what I'm going to do is going to give it a bit of a bash on the side of the bowl. Like this. Oh, the eggshell is cracked. And I'm going to open it up. Pop, out it goes. Don't worry if you get a bit of eggshell in there. You can just pick it out. Okay. So I'll show you. I've got my sloppy egg in there now. So I'm going to mix my egg in with my biscuity mixture. And what should happen is it should all start to stick together in a big lump. Okay, so I'm just going to mix it round a little bit with my spoon, and then in a minute I'm going to get my hands in and use my hands to try and make it stick together in a big ball. Right, let's have a look. So there's lots of flour there. It's all really sticky now, is this? So we want 1 big ball of biscuit mixture. looking a bit better. Now, mummies and daddies, when you are baking with your children, they will make a mess, okay? But that's all right, it doesn't matter. And if the biscuits don't look quite like they do in the shops, it doesn't matter. It's more important that your children have a go and that they do a lot of this bit themselves, okay? You might need to help them a little bit, but don't worry about the mess, it all cleans. Okay, and children learn so much from baking. There's so much maths to learn when we're baking. Right, there we go, look at that now. So here is my lovely ball of biscuit dough. Can you see? Wow, it didn't look like that at the beginning, did it? It's changed quite a lot. I'm losing a bit of dough there. Right, so we need to make this into biscuits now. Okay, sometimes when you make biscuits, use a rolling pin and a cutter, but these biscuits are much easier. We don't need a rolling pin and a cutter. Okay, so all we're going to do is we're just going to break off, I don't know, maybe a walnut size biscuit, because we've used self-raising flour, which means that our biscuits are going to rise, they're going to grow a little bit in the oven. So they're going to change, they're going to get bigger and spread out. So we'll need about this, just a little ball, okay? And then what we're going to do, so we've made it into a tiny little ball, we're just going to pop it onto our tray and then just squash it out a little bit with your fingers. And then I just use one of my fingers just to make a little hole in the middle. Okay, there. Doesn't have to be perfect. I will just show you that. Can you see? It's just a circular shape and I've just used my finger just to squish a little hole in the middle. I wonder what's going to go in there. Okay, and then what you need to do is you need to fill up your tray. You don't want to put your biscuits really close together, because when they spread out, they will all stick to each other. Okay, so you need to leave a nice space in between. I mean, I think I'll only put maybe six or seven biscuits on this tray. Some people, if you're a bit brave, you might want to put 8 on, but I'm not very brave. Right, I'm just going to squash that down, make a little hole in my finger. It's a bit tricky because it's a bit sticky. Might be easy if you use the bottom of a wooden spoon like that, look. Just to make a little ditch in your biscuits. I'll just show you again. Okay, so I just used the bottom of the spoon this time for that one because it was a bit sticky, just to make a bit of a hole. Right, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to get a spoon. I'll just wipe my hands actually. You might need to just keep wiping your hands in between. If I were you, when you're doing your baking, I would fill your tray, okay, before you put the jam in. But I'm going to do it the other way, just so I can show you. Greasy hands now. Just so I can show you very quickly how to do it. Okay, so I've got some blackcurrant jam here. Alright, and I've got a little teaspoon. You don't want a lot of jam in. I would not put a full teaspoon in because your jam biscuits will flood and it will go all over the tray and be all sticky. So I would only put a little bit of jam in. That's just like half a teaspoon. Okay, and then just let it pop. There, plop. It's plopped into my biscuit. Then I'm going to do another one there. Just half a teaspoon again and plop. Okay, there. Now, when all your tray's full of biscuits, you put them in the oven just for about 10 minutes. Okay, and then they should be ready. All right. Right, so I just want to share with you a handy little tip that I've just discovered, because my dough was really mega sticky. So every time I was pushing into my dough to make the hole, it was all sticking to my fingers. So what I've done, can you see my fingers have gone all white? I've just dipped my finger in some flour, okay, and then I'm just gonna make the hole with my floured finger. Look at that, it's not sticking and it's made a perfect little hole. So on this tray, I've made 8 biscuits. I've been a bit brave. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. If we count them in twos, I've got 2, 4, 6, 8. Okay, and in these biscuits, I'm going to put the strawberry jam. So the other tray of biscuits, I put the blackcurrant jam. But this one is having strawberry. I don't think I've put enough in that one, have I? I'll add some more in a minute. So that's 1, 2, 3. Another one. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Oh, nearly 8. There. I'm just going to add a little bit more to that one. There we go. Don't worry if they don't look perfect. It's the eating that's important. So there we go. I'm going to put these in the oven now for 10 minutes, and I'll see you in 10 minutes and we'll have a look at our biscuits together. Okay? Right then, so my biscuits have been in the oven for 10 minutes now. Alright. And there we go. They are all ready. Can you see? They're not tiny little ones anymore. They've spread out. So they're very hot, so you'll need your grown-up to take them out of the oven for you. And then they need to put them onto a wire rack to help them cool down quicker. Okay. So well, these are the ones that got the black currant jam in. So that's 1, 2, 3. Maybe you can see that. If I move those back, you might be able to see them. 4. Smell nice. 5 and 6. So this jam looks purple in the middle. Let me just pop this away. There we go. So there are our yummy jam biscuits. Okay. So have fun making those with your grown-up, and in case you missed the ingredients at the beginning, there you go. I'll put them on there. And you also need the jam. Okay, so have a nice Eid, everybody. Bye.